The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Republicans plan to repeal Obamacare, and that will be no easy task. But with the GOP in control of Congress, they are hedging their bets and adding in legislation to strip Planned Parenthood of federal funding. The last time around, it was a losing battle, but as Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen reports, this time could have a different outcome.
11 words from House Speaker Paul Ryan reignited a major battle on Capitol Hill.
Well, Planned Parenthood legislation would be in our reconciliation bill.
That means congressional Republicans will use the Obamacare repeal effort as a vehicle for stripping Planned Parenthood, which carries out some 325,000 abortions a year of roughly $400 million in Medicaid funding the group receives for its other services, such as contraception and cancer screening.
We will fight that decision by the Speaker to defund Planned Parenthood, and you know what? The American people are with us.
Republicans and pro-life groups say the funding will go to local health care providers that steer clear of abortions. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the cuts would impact 400,000 women.
They don't come to Planned Parenthood to make a political statement. They come because they need high-quality, affordable care, and we're proud to provide it to them. And for many of them, we are their only health care provider.
A similar effort by Republicans 1 year ago ended with a veto by President Obama. Among other promises to pro-life groups, President-elect Trump pledged in writing in September to defund Planned Parenthood. But just 6 months earlier, he was talking like this.
Look, Planned Parenthood has done very good work for for millions of women. We're not going to fund as long as you have the abortion going on at Planned Parenthood, and we understand that, and I've said it loud and clear. And we'll see what happens.
Still, pro-life advocates expect the next president to make the defunding and his other pledges a reality.
We got those in writing, a letter from him, and we're looking forward to him holding good on his pledge to defund Planned Parenthood and redirect those monies to facilities that will provide comprehensive health care for women.
Polls show most Americans do want women under certain conditions to have access to abortions, but 1 in 5 voters, according to the November exit polling data, cited Supreme Court nominations as their #1 issue. And such voters went heavily for Donald Trump, who promised to appoint pro-life justices. Brett?
James, thank you.
Hello, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Today, my guest on phone is the Honorable Marilyn Musgrave. So, Marilyn, how are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
Good morning.
A very exciting time for pro-life people in this country. So much is going on.
Yeah, I am with Lutherans for Life, as well as a TV producer and hostess of Patty's Page. Been that way for about 7-8 years now.
Good.
Thank you. And I have been interviewing a lot of pro-lifers. What's her name? Dr. Avita King, Kathy Humberger of Allen County Right to Life, and Carol Tobias of National Right to Life, and everyone like that. And I'm finally interviewing you, dear.
Good.
I saw you about a year or so ago. When you were at Liz Brown's luncheon, many moons ago, and you were still Congresswoman?
I am now Vice President of Government Affairs with Susan B. Anthony List, so I'm not in Congress anymore.
Well, you're doing a great job, and I'm very proud of you, you know. So, when did you first become pro-life activist?
Decades ago, when I was a teenager, I was very concerned about the life issue, and then after I married and had our 4 children, you know, I was very active. Before I was elected to office, I was the president of our local Right to Life chapter, which was a small group of people, but nevertheless lived in rural Colorado and was very interested in education on the life side and also the political side, in that I wanted to see candidates that were pro-life elected to office because I knew that laws save lives. And here I am all these years later working with the political arm of the pro-life movement, Susan B. Anthony list.
What positions did you hold while you were helping our babies and that? You were in the government. How many positions did you have while you were working for them? You were...
Well, I was an activist before I ever ran for office.
Yeah.
And president of the local Right to Life. Would go to community activities and take fetal models and do educational things, and sometimes spoke at schools, junior colleges, that kind of thing. And I supported, my political side was, I supported candidates that were committed pro-lifers because I knew that they were, you know, if they really cared about people, they certainly would care about the most vulnerable person there is, that unborn child. So worked for many pro-life candidates and got more political and ran for the local school board in my community.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to do, besides academic rigor and good discipline in the schools, was to promote healthy sex education. And I thought that abstinence education was good, and I tried to make sure that that was in our schools. I quite frankly was not very successful, but I served on the school board, and then later I ran for the State House in Colorado and served 2 terms in the House in Colorado, and then 1 term in the Colorado Senate before running for Congress. And then I served 3 terms in the United States Congress, serving from the 4th District of Colorado.
Wow. And when, in 2008, when Obama came in, what happened?
Well, we saw the most pro-abortion president we've ever had elected. It's interesting. Jill Stanek is a pro-life nurse, was a pro-life nurse when then State Senator Barack Obama served in the legislature in Illinois, and she was the one, the pro-life nurse that worked at Christ Hospital, that witnessed babies that survived abortions, born alive, babies being left to die in places like the utility closet. It was interesting, even back in those days, she sounded the alarm, you know, about the extreme position of candidate Barack Obama, in that he had voted 4 times against the Infant Born Alive Act. So the radical abortion stand of that president, that candidate was out there, but not covered much by the national news. But of course, then we saw him elected president. One of his first actions was to I'm trying to think of the word. He did away with the Mexico City policy. So once again, our tax dollars were going for abortions in other countries, with the guise of them being part of humanitarian aid. And, you know, we saw him stand right alongside Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion provider in this country, at any and every turn.
Did you know that Australia is starting to put money in to compensate for what Trump has done to defund international abortion?
Well, it's amazing in this country. We see, you know, Ronald Reagan, President Reagan, did the Mexico City policy, and then Clinton, President Clinton, you know, took it away. And So this is a back and forth in our country, but, my thoughts are, and they were when I was in Congress, if you're giving foreign aid to a country, you think of, just say Africa, for instance, they need medicine, they need their homes sprayed for mosquitoes, they need food, they don't need abortion. Abortion is not humanitarian aid.
No, it isn't.
And so it was very encouraging to see President Trump reinstate the Mexico City policy.
Which I'm glad.
Yes.
We are blessed with that. Your current title again is what?
Vice President of Government Affairs for Susan B. Anthony List. I lobby for life.
Oh, yeah.
And so right now we're working on defunding Planned Parenthood, redirecting those dollars to community health care centers, federally qualified community health care centers, and that is being worked on by the House right now, and they're trying to do it through a process of budgetary reconciliation, and that only requires a simple majority in the Senate. So the House is working on it. Reconciliation deals with budgetary items, so they're trying to craft the legislation so that it will pass muster with the Senate parliamentarians, so it's a very heavy lift. But when candidate Trump came to the pro-life community, we got 4 commitments from him. The commitments were that he would work to defund Planned Parenthood, redirect those dollars, that he would try to make high protections permanent. Again, that relates to our tax dollars going for abortion.
Right.
That he would promote the Unborn Child Paying Capable Act, which has been our highest legislative priority most recently in the last election cycle, and also that he would nominate justices to the Supreme Court that were pro-life. So we received those 4 commitments from candidate Trump, and I think the one that will happen most quickly is defunding Planned Parenthood in the reconciliation process, and again, redirecting those dollars to community health care centers that provide holistic health care for women and do not do abortions.
Oh, wow.
So we are very encouraged that Vice President Pence is a pro-life leader.
Yes.
It was amazing to see him as a member of Congress. I served with him, and he worked to defund Planned Parenthood. He was a stalwart hero for life. When he became governor of Indiana, he signed pro-life laws. He signed pro-life bills into law and made a number of pro-life gains in Indiana, including legislation that would prevent discriminating against an unborn child because of their race or gender or any disability. And so that was a very significant step in protecting unborn children. And when he was picked by candidate Trump to be his running mate, it gave a clear message to the pro-life community that there was a strong voice for life there. It was very encouraging that Vice President Pence came to the March for Life and spoke.
Yes.
He made history when he did that. So it is a time for pro-life people that have worked for decades, many since Roe v. Wade, to have an optimistic outlook as to what we will be able to accomplish legislatively and also from the administration in regard to saving lives.
That's right. Do you work with Canada at all?
We do not. We're not an international organization.
Oh, I wish you were. I really wish you were. How long have you been with Susan B. Anthony List? How many?
I think it's about 10 years now.
10.
We've seen growth in the organization. We have moved away from the war on women discussion and really have had great success in pointing out that we are pro-life, we are pro-woman, and pointing out the extreme positions such as Hillary Clinton's position when she was running for president. You know, no restrictions on abortion at any time during the pregnancy. And by the way, your taxpayer dollars will be the way it's funded. So no banning of late-term abortion, taxpayer funding of abortion. That has become the extreme position of, for instance, Hillary Clinton when she ran for president. And Americans are becoming more pro-life, especially when you talk to people about banning late-term abortion. Again, the legislation, the Unborn Child Capable Act, would ban abortion after the 5th month of pregnancy. That's supported by over 60% in higher numbers for women than even men. So women are becoming more and more pro-life. And when you look at taxpayer funding of abortion, that too, over 60% of people say taxpayer dollars should not go for abortion.
Yes.
We've maintained that abortion is not health care, and this is a time where we have opportunity to make great pro-life gains.
Wow. The organization's mission statement, it is a non-profit, right?
Yes.
Do you have a lot of sponsors or donations and stuff?
We have members from around the country. We have over 350,000 people that support Susan B. Anthony list.
I have a question about Roe versus Wade. How, from that time till now, people have been thinking abortion was a normal thing to go through many generations, 40 years or so. So how can we help the ones that went through the 60s and that to teach their kids abortion is wrong? How can we convince, how can we teach to re-educate?
Well, I think the humanness of the child needs to be emphasized, and now many young people have seen their siblings, first of all, in an ultrasound.
Yes.
They get a little older and get married, and when their friends are expecting a baby, they see the child in the ultrasound. The humanness of the baby is becoming more and more evident. When I look back to the day, when Planned Parenthood and other organizations were telling women it's a blob of tissue, those days are gone. Science is on our side, and I think as we teach young people, they need to see that unborn child in the womb. They need to see those little feet and those little hands. They need to see that fateful heart beating. And it's very obvious that it's a baby.
Yes.
And, now we can tell young people that surgery is being done on children in the womb.
Yes.
Successful surgery before they receive the surgery. They receive anesthetic because it has a much better outcome if the child does not feel the pain. So this is a time where science is on our side. And we also can talk about what happens to a nation when they allow abortion on demand for any reason, funded by the taxpayer. We have examples from China, the one-child policy, and what that's done to that nation.
I was going to mention
we
that.
have women now that are speaking out that regret their abortion. So there are many ways for us to get out the pro-life message.
China was complaining that they didn't have enough females.
Now, isn't that interesting? Of course, we know that many of the babies that were aborted in China were aborted because they were female.
Yes.
What a tragic state of affairs.
Why, with Susan B. Anthony, you're helping women to become equal and to know that their bodies are a temple and the babies are a separate entity and they have to...
Yes, they're a separate entity. It's amazing when we, are accused of, by by radical pro-abortion people accused of being anti-woman. You know, you think of the Kermit Gosnell facility in Pennsylvania and what women suffered in that house of horrors. You know, we wonder why people that are pro-choice organizations oppose giving a woman information about abortion before she has one. You know, we wonder why Planned Parenthood opposes regulations on an abortion facility that would hold it to the same standard as any ambulatory surgical center. You know, and we lost that battle in the courts. But I mean, really, if a woman is going to seek an abortion, you know, which I look to the day, you know, I oppose abortion.
Right.
We oppose abortion. But I mean, if a woman's going to go into a facility and have an abortion, should she have access to a doctor that has admitting privileges at a nearby hospital if she has complications? I mean, it's becoming harder and harder for the, you know, the Planned Parenthoods to say that, you know, they are pro-woman. We are pro-child and pro-woman.
Well, because half of the babies are women, so how can they say they're pro-woman and still abort baby girls? Yeah, there's no logic in that.
Isn't that the truth? With more females in the womb being terminated than males, it just doesn't make sense. They're on a collision course, and you know, it's intellectually dishonest.
I think it's all demonic for some, you know, demonic, all of it. What bills have you put through? Are you trying to get through the courts now for pro-life, now that Obama's out of office?
We are working on many things right now. We will be working on the unborn child pain capable very quickly. We right now are working on defunding Planned Parenthood and reconciliation, redirecting those dollars to other health care providers. We are working on the nomination of Neil Gorsuch. We are hoping that he will be confirmed. He will replace our hero, the incredible Justice Scalia.
Right.
And so there are many things that we are doing right now.
We're having a lot of people banging, trying to push us from not doing that. So we just have to not give up and continue forging ahead, peacefully, of course, with the law, through the courts. But we are a peaceful nation. Well, people who are pro-life are peaceful. The people who are not, who are pro-choice, we have to, you know, they're getting more strong. We're trying to get more strong to push us back from what we were trying to do for our kids. Oh, thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome. All right. Thanks again.
Bye, dear.
What is Planned Parenthood really about? Breast cancer screenings?
We do not have mammogram machines at our health centers.
Prenatal care?
No, we don't do prenatal services. I mean, it's called Planned Parenthood. I know it's kind of deceiving.
Planned Parenthood does abortions, 300,000 a year, and it's faced federal investigation for selling baby body parts. Planned Parenthood doesn't deserve our tax dollars. Redirect their funding to real healthcare centers for women.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us all.